All right, so let's look at your competitive advantage. Let's start with a definition. You all can read that. And I would ask you to read this definition and pay attention to the words that are highlighted in brown. Anybody have any, like, okay, you've seen that and the words in brown, anything, any thoughts about that, or anything interesting aspects about some of those words? The whole thing is about a differentiators. What sets you apart? And I would say probably, I don't know if this is someone you talk to people who come up with a business idea. It's one of the first things you probably ask them. I know I've asked people, what's going to make you different?
I'm going to be on the internet.
Yeah, oh, okay. Well, there you go. The lone warrior.
Yeah.
You're thinking about your competitive advantage and your differentiators. You got to give serious thought to how you are different from other people out there that are doing things similar to you. Okay? And then a question. And I asked this question before, but I'm going to ask it again. Got to be able to answer that. And you got to be able to answer it in a concrete, meaningful way. I'll just tell you though, there's a lot of Fortune, I'm not going to say 500, Fortune 100 companies can't answer that question. I've talked to VP of sales at certain companies. They can't answer that question.
Like I just don't get that.
I heard an example, I'll give you an example. I talked to the VP of sales and I asked him that question in an interview, I think it was in an interview. I asked him, it was a long silence when I asked him. And then he said, we're more focused on the customer. That's it. We're more focused on the customer. Can I ask you, how many companies say they're not focused on the customer?
Nobody.
He didn't know. Because that, I will tell you right now, that is not a unique differentiator. We're more focused on the customer. I couldn't believe it. It was a VP of sales. And that's why it's important. And this is the other thing that you'll hear is people say, oh, I got marketing. Marketing's easy. I got it. It's brochures. I'll tweet out stuff. And all that. I mean, but no, it's answering hard questions like this. That's what marketing's about. Okay. All right, well, let's look at this. I want to talk a little bit about some things that could differentiate you in the marketplace, okay? The features of your product or service. And we say that you're bigger, better, faster. Mine's better for the following reasons. Brand A works better than brand B, okay? But again, when you're talking about that, again, it's got to be in the context of how you're delivering value to the customer. You want to be able to say, my product delivers more value to you. It's not just that my product is better, because just saying that your product is better, a lot of times doesn't mean anything to the customer. So what, right? How is it better that it's going to help me? That's what I want to know, okay? Another thing that we can differentiate on is price. Good, better, best. How many of you feel competing on price is a good thing? Good, keep your hands down. You don't ever want to have to compete on price. Okay? There is an art to doing that. I mean, there are certain markets where price, you compete on price, and there's an art to it. We call it it's commodity products, meaning brand A is the exact same thing as brand B as brand C. And there's no differences between them. So the only way that you're going to distinguish yourself in the marketplace is price. But you don't want to be there. You want to sell value, unique value. You don't want to be like everybody else. Price is one. Then we talked about demographics. For example, you may have something and you'll say, I am only focused on millennials. So that when all your messaging and everything you do, when millennials come up and say, oh, speaking of me, they care about me. Or boomers or Gen X or whatever the rest of them are. I'm not even going to say what I am, but yeah, it's if you're targeting a certain demographic, and that is okay. For example, I will give you an example of how you could differentiate yourself. You're a clothes store, a dress shop, here in Cameron Village, okay? You have a dress shop that maybe you carry. You're catering to a certain clientele, okay? But you've got a competitive advantage over, say, there's another dress shop in Durham that sells the exact same stuff you do, but you got location. That differentiates you. It's a softer differentiation, but it's a differentiation nonetheless. So there's a lot of things there. So, and then a few others. Maybe your business or you have certain experience or expertise that can help deliver value to your customer that your competition doesn't have. So that's something that you want to, certainly leverage. We talked about I'm taking the Chick-fil-A, the customer experience. Okay? And I would say that sometimes we want this, like today if we take Chick-fil-A for example, sometimes we'll pick Chick-fil-A even if we're in the mood for a hamburger. Chances are we'll go to Chick-fil-A because we're gonna like the experience there better. Strong. And in the notes, I'll get it, there's some links to some great differentiation. It's an article that talked about 10 different companies and how they differentiated themselves. Right. Well, let's keep going here. So understand a little bit more about your competition. So maybe this is a question you're asking. I mean, maybe intellectually you know that you should need to care about your competition, but why should we care about our competition? So we all agree, we need to spend time understanding our competition, yes?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, here's some questions that you probably need to ask. All right? How is your competition viewed in the marketplace? Okay? What are they doing? Where are they? And you'd like to know how your competition is viewed by your existing and potential customers. Because just because some firm is a customer of yours, that never, ever precludes them from talking to your competition. And you'd like to know how you're being viewed and how your competition is being viewed. Okay? But sometimes that's just a conversation. Okay? And when we talked about a SWOT analysis, which I'm going to get, there's no SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You need to be able to, number one, assess your own strengths and weaknesses in your business, but you want to be able to, can you assess your competition's strengths and weaknesses? Because you want to be strong where they're weak. And knowing this, among other things, how you're going to improve your competitive advantage. Very, very important to think about. Okay? And this is, the folks at SCORE can help you, marketing people can help you, and really tease that out, because you want to be able to have it. It's something this is something that needs to be written down. It is not just something that's put in a drawer either. It's a living, breathing thing that you refer to, and it morphs over time and becomes more fine-tuned. And so that it becomes visceral. When you're talking to people, you can talk about what uniquely differentiates you from other people out there. Really important. Okay, you may be thinking, okay, geez, I don't know, how do I get information on the competition? I have no idea how to do that. Sometimes, yeah, so a customer comes over and tells you what somebody else is doing. That's always nice. But we don't always have that luxury, okay? So we may have to go to other resources in order to find out more about our competition. Look at their marketing collateral. Maybe first thing you can do is go look at their website. All right? Look at where they're advertising. If we want to look here, we want to look at what their advertisements, but also what we want to look at is where they're advertising. Because if they're advertising in a place where you're not, chances are they may know something you don't. Or maybe you're smarter than them, and there's no market there, but for whatever reason they think there's a market there. But if there's a place where your competition is advertising and spending time, and they're getting customers, and you're not there, that's a problem that you need to fix right away. Sales brochures, looking at articles. Sometimes you can see articles that industry articles or things they've written on. How many of you are on LinkedIn? You can see what people have written. Facebook, there's lots of places where you can find out information about what the company's doing. Press releases, that's a great way to find out more about what's going on. There's a plug for the online databases, Reference USA. So there's others which you can do to research companies to find out what they're doing, looking at their some annual reports. You can find out, one of the things that you might want to find out, it would be good to know whether if your competition is in good financial shape or not. Because if they're not in good financial shape, that is certainly something that you might want to exploit. And it's possible that you may use that as a competitive advantage. I don't ever think that you should openly throw a competitor under the bus, but certainly take a weakness that they have and position yourself in a positive light against that weakness. And there's an art to that. So. Industry trade shows or craft fairs. The other thing you can do, is go around and check out the competition. Walk around, see what they're selling, see what they're doing, talk to them. It's a great way to, the worst thing they'll tell you is go away. Right? But you can find out. Talk to the people that sell for you. If you have people that sell for you, what are they seeing out in the marketplace? Who are they running into? Who are they bumping heads with? It's a great way. Also, if you're trying to find out about a particular company, maybe you can talk to some former employees. They'll tell you what's going on the inside, but hopefully they don't violate any confidentiality agreement, but they can still tell you a lot about the company. So that's one way. And then trust your own observations. What do you see? But it's important that you get research on every competitor. Every one of them. And then what you'll need to do is create this SWOT analysis. So again, we call it strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And it is an idea where there's a lot of research that goes into this, but the top level is to identify all these things for each of your competitors. What are they good at? What are they not good at? What opportunities are they chasing? And how do I perceive them to be a threat to my business?